And welcome to this episode of The Duck Pond, episode 13, in John's Storytime Adventures. John adjusted the strap of his camera bag and reached for Miya's hand as they stepped through the narrow pine trail that led into the local park. The morning air was fresh, laced with scent of pine needles and dew. Light filtered through the trees, creating a golden starburst effect as the rising sun played with the shadows. John instinctively raised his camera and click, the first photo of the day. A brilliant flare of sunlight breaking through the treetops like nature's welcome. Miya smiled at him. "You always know where to look," she said softly. He shrugged modestly. "It's hard to miss beauty when you're walking next to it." She gave him a playful nudge, and they emerged from the trail into a wide clearing where the duck pond shimmered ahead. A fountain in the center of the pond caught the morning light just right, sending a gentle mist into the air that bent the sunbeams into a delicate rainbow. The colors arched gracefully over the water, and for a moment, both of them simply stood still, breathing it all in. "I feel like we just stepped into a painting," Miya whispered. John, already lifting his camera again, nodded. "Let's find our tree." The trail wound gently along the pond's edge. As they walked, the rhythm of the park life began to unfold around them, quiet, unhurried, but very much alive. A woman in a bright yellow shirt speed walked past them, earbuds in, arms pumping in perfect sync with her determined steps. She gave a polite nod, barely breaking stride. Behind her came two women, each pushing a baby stroller. The mothers chatted, their conversation punctuated by little giggles from the bundled passengers. The path was wide, and the strollers rolled smoothly over it. Then an older man came toward them, wearing what looked like a white fishing vest full of small pockets. He was inspecting the trees and the bushes with a pair of binoculars, clearly a bird watcher on a mission. He gave John and Miya a courteous tip of his hat as he passed. Another couple strolled by, holding hands and smiling to themselves, lost in their own bubble of morning joy. Then came a man walking a majestic German shepherd. The dog paused, ears alert, eyes bright. John knelt and raised his lens. "Do you mind if I grab a photo?" he asked. "Go right ahead," the man replied with a grin. The dog posed as if it had been trained for such a moment. John captured it, strong, noble, with the park's fountain rainbow blurred in the background. Just as he lowered his camera, another man with a blue heeler passed them. The dog was all energy, trotting briskly ahead on a taut leash. Eventually they reached their tree, a wide canopy oak near the pond's edge, with just enough shade to make it perfect. Miya unfurled a soft blanket, while John unpacked the basket. The clinking of glass jars and the rustle of napkins startled a few nearby birds, and they fluttered off in a flurry of wings. A curious white duck waddled closer, head tilted to the side as if trying to understand what these new visitors were doing. "Looks like we've got company," Miya laughed, tearing off a small corner of bread and tossing it gently to the duck, who accepted it without hesitation. Across the pond, a young father was teaching his daughter, no more than 4, to fish. Her tiny hands gripped the pole clumsily, but the pride in her posture was unmistakable. The father crouched beside her, patient and encouraging. Near them, on the far bank, two ducks foraged, one facing left, the other right, like twin sentinels guarding opposite worlds. Their quiet dabbling mirrored the rhythm of the pond. To the right, a woman with a high ponytail and a whistle hung from her neck was training a dog, a clever-looking border collie who sat, rolled, and responded with eager eyes to every command. Further still, almost at the edge of the park, sat an older man in a folding chair, withered but serene. A large red thermos rested beside him. He was not fishing, walking, or talking, just enjoying the glow of the morning sun, face tilted upward like a sunflower. Closer to where John and Miya sat, more ducks gathered, sensing a potential buffet. Smaller birds swooped in, daring and agile, pecked at crumbs, and then darted away as quickly as they came. Miya pointed to one with iridescent blue wings that caught the light just right, and John managed to get the shot just before it vanished into the trees. The minutes drifted by in easy conversation and shared bits of fruit and cheese. Time moved differently here, with the scent of water lilies, the splash of ducks, and the warmth of the sun wrapping around them like a blanket. As the shadows lengthened slightly and the last bit of jam was scraped from its jar, a small ripple on the surface of the pond caught John's eye. "There," he said, pointing. A head emerged, a snapping turtle, ancient and wise, eyes unblinking as it watched them. It seemed in no rush, just observing, a quiet witness to their morning. Miya tossed a few crumbs of bread towards it. The turtle did not chase them, but allowed the drifting currents to bring it its prize. Packing up was slow, almost reluctant. Neither of them wanted to leave. The ducks lingered as if they were to say goodbye, and the turtle remained half immersed, like a guardian of the pond. As they stood and looked back one last time, John took Miya's hand again. "Next time," he said, "we'll bring an extra loaf for the duck and the turtle." She smiled and kissed his cheek. "And maybe a folding chair. I want to know what that man sees when he just sits and watches the sun." Together they walked back the way they had come, sunlight on their backs, the memories of a perfect morning unfolding behind them like ripples on the water. And if you enjoyed this episode of The Duck Pond, please join us for the next time for The Rodeo, Part 1, part of John's Eclectic Photo Time Story Adventure. And in these images, it proves up that these are not AI-generated photos. Rather, they directly come from a camera. Here is the camera and lens and date and time information. Thank you. And once again, I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Duck Pond. If you did enjoy this episode, please consider subscribing and hit that like button. Thank you.